Oh, yeah. Note. Do you have note?
Yes, guess what?
Down. What's the temperature?
Temperature is 73.
Could you put 75? Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Okay then.
So the last time we had a teaching on Tuesday was in September, and it was on how to practice and what practice is.
Okay, that where we stop. Very last part.
Well, we went through the steps of practice, taking refuge and so forth, and dedication, and then sealing that with a fresh awareness of emptiness and how to be aware of emptiness. You gave us a stanza from Nagarjuna there are no phenomena that are not dependently arisen or originated.
Okay. Then
Therefore, and then you have to memorize that stanza to recite in one's mind and reflect on what the stanza means or describes or conveys and tells. And, oh, I thought that was the last page, and it wasn't. And then you talk more about emptiness and resting our mind in emptiness, and gave more quotes from Nagarjuna's Precious Garland. And
yeah.
so, and then through the process, we deconstruct and dismantle the false notion of self, person. And then you also wrote that, you also said that if we don't have a reason or clue of the mode of existence of a person's self, then most likely we will fall into nihilism, which is the reflection or denial of the conventional existence of a person or self, or rejection of it. A rejection or denial of the conventional existence of a person or self, and it will have consequences, that we will act irresponsibly and immorally.
In the earlier teaching in the class, we said it is important to place high value in the practice of purification and practice of accumulation of merit. In the absence of those two practice, it is not possible, but the actual path to enlightenment can
be followed, or
can be followed, yes. So therefore, right from the beginning, we should put strong emphasis on the importance of the practice of purification of negativities and the practice of accumulation of merit. Then only there can be, or there will be a realistic hope the actual path to enlightenment can and will what? Will follow. The aim or goal, ultimate final aim or goal of our practice is, if possible, to attain full enlightenment. If not, then to attain Nirvana, which is the permanent freedom from samsara. Even that is not possible, then at least to secure the happiness of next rebirth by means of securing fortunate rebirth. Yes. Rebecca, could you read that part? Yes.
The goal of our practice is to attain enlightenment, or if not that, nirvana, which is freedom. And if not that, at least securing a fortunate rebirth in our next life.
Which means what? If possible, the highest goal is to attain enlightenment. That's it, to benefit all sentient beings. For some reason, if that is not what possible for us, then second, the highest aim is to attain what? Nirvana, which is the permanent freedom from samsara. Yes. Even that is not possible for us for some reason, then at least the most what? Minimum or minimal is to secure the happiness of what? Next life by means of securing
Securing a fortunate
to
rebirth.
securing the fortunate rebirth. Those are the three goals. Yes. So we need those three goals need to be very well clear to ourselves. Yes. It's clear. That practice that we are maybe doing, that we may do, to secure the happiness of next life by means of securing the fortunate rebirth in primarily through the practice of what? Ethics. Yes, through the practice of ethics or morality. There is also primarily refraining from the 10 negative actions and cultivating the 10 positive actions. So proper and strong, a serious practice of refraining from 10 negative actions and cultivating the 10 positive actions will guarantee for securing happiness of next life and to have a fortunate rebirth. Yes. Okay, Kathy, read that part.
Okay. Securing a fortunate rebirth happens through the practice of ethics or morality. The 10 negative.
The practice of ethics and morality,
Yes,
in this case, is refraining from
the 10 negative
actions
and
and cultivating
cultivating the 10 positive
actions.
Proper, strong, serious practice of refraining from the 10 negative actions and accumulating the 10 positive. I said accumulating the 10.
Cultivating.
The 10 positive actions will guarantee and secure happiness in the next life with a fortunate rebirth.
Oh, yes. Don, what are the 10 negative actions?
10 negative actions are killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, slander, lying, gossiping, harsh speech, and envy, wrong views, and ill will.
Oh, good, good, very good. Now, once you know those are the 10 negative actions, then it's easy to know the opposite of those what? 10 negative actions. The opposite of the 10 negative actions is 10 positive actions, which is not killing, so on and so forth. That's good, that's good.
But the 10 positive actions, are they other than just not doing the 10 negative actions?
More than that, yes.
It's
more than
the opposite, like
yeah. More than that.
helping preserve life.
Oh yeah, everything, yes. Those. Which means what really what doing, consciously doing more than simply what not killing it. Which is protecting the life, saving the life, and providing comfort to the life, and nourishment to the life. All those are yes, positive actions did. That's more than simply refraining from killing it. The second highest goal is nirvana, attainment of nirvana. That is, one can attain nirvana primarily through the practice of Eightfold Noble Path. Yes, Eightfold Noble Path or Eight Noble Fold Path. Oh yeah, that. Okay, that anyone knows what are the Eightfold Noble Path?
I'm not good at saying it. But, let's see.
First, right action, right speech,
right livelihood, right
livelihood.
right.
Those three belongs to what? Morality. Yes.
Then, right concentration,
Right concentration,
right,
right mindfulness,
yeah,
and then those two belong to the meditation. Yes.
yeah.
Those two belongs to meditation. Yes.
Yeah. And then there's right understanding. Is that right? I'm not sure how.
Right thought.
Right thought.
And right view.
Right view.
And right effort. Those three, the right thought and right in the view belongs to what? Wisdom, prajna. And the right effort equally belongs to all three. Yes. Oh yeah, Kathy, read that part. Yes.
Okay. The second goal, which is the attainment of nirvana, is the primarily the practice of the Eightfold Noble Path or the Eight Noble Full Path. Right action, right speech, right livelihood belong to morality. Right concentration, right mindfulness belong to meditation. Right thought, right view belong to prajna, and right effort belongs to all three.
All three. Yes. So, morality, meditation, wisdom, these three are called three what? Higher training. Yes. It's called what?
Three higher training.
Three higher training. Higher training in morality, higher training in meditation, higher training in wisdom. Yes. These three are called the three higher what? Training. Right. So here, in among the Eightfold Noble Path, uh, right view. The right view refers to the what? The view of what? Selflessness, anatma. View of
Selflessness.
selflessness, anatma. Atma, anatma. Self, no self. Or selflessness. Which means that there is no what? Independent, eternal, intrinsic meanness or I-ness. Oh yeah, yeah. Don, can you read that last part?
Well,
Selflessness, which means there's no independent. Then what?
no independent.
Eternal.
me or-
There's no independent, eternal, and intrinsic what?
Me or I.
On me or I. Alright. That is what identified. That is to be identified as what who we are. Yes. As the Don, as the John, as what? Mary, as Jennifer. There's no such. Yes. However, we have conceived the self or I characterized with those three. Yes. Characterized with
Those three.
Independent,
eternal,
internal, and
intrinsic. And we think, we believe, we think that that type of I or self somehow what? It resides within our what? Psychophysical what?
Body,
Huh?
psychophysical body.
Psychophysical entity. We know that the body is not what I. We know that the mind is not what I. Feelings, emotions, sensations, and are not what I. And we believe that there is what independent, eternal, intrinsic I that can be what found outside of
It's,
psychophysical
oh,
entities.
entity, okay.
So through a careful analysis, such type of self cannot be found. And unfindabilityness of the such self is called what? Selflessness. Unfindabilityness or non-findabilityness of the such self is defined as what? Anatma or selflessness or what? No self. Yeah, read. Rebecca, read the last part, yes. View, correct, right view.
Right view refers to the view of selflessness or anatma.
Anatma.
There is no independent, eternal, intrinsic me-ness or I-ness. For example, there's no Don or John or Jennifer. However, we cultivate and I wasn't sure if the word was cultivate. We cultivate an idea of ourselves. We construct an
Not
idea.
cultivated, don't say. However, we have conceived.
We conceived. Okay, we conceived. We have conceived an idea of ourselves.
What?
We have conceived an idea of ourselves that is in.
Yeah, we have conceived that the I or self with
as
those were
independent,
three characteristics.
independent, eternal, and intrinsic.
No, intrinsic.
There is no independent, eternal, intrinsic self outside of the psychophysical
State or entity, yes.
psychophysical entity. Unfindability of such a self is defined as anatma.
Now, through first we have to, through a careful analysis, we cannot find such self that we have what?
We have identified with.
Yeah, you can say yes.
Through careful analysis, we find there is no.
What? Through careful analysis,
we don't find.
We cannot find or we don't find. Such a self, where we have conceived. And then?
And then that unfindability of such a self is defined as a not
yes.
selflessness or no self.
No, we could not find. We don't find at all. No matter how long, how far, how deep we look or we search. And that very word, unfindabilityness or non-findabilityness of such a self is described or defined as what? Anatma or selflessness. Experiential, direct and experiential realization of selflessness. Free ourselves, free. It what?
Oh, it frees ourselves.
It frees ourselves from a samsaric what?
Suffering or
Existence.
Existence.
And we are what? No longer subject to what? To samsara. Yes. Since we are no longer subject to samsara forever, therefore, it's called what? Permanent freedom from
Suffering.
samsara. Yes, permanent freedom from samsara. Since we are no longer subject to samsara forever, from the day we gain freedom from samsara, through the force of the experiential direct realization of selflessness. Yeah, who can read? Don, can you read?
We gain freedom from
Samsara,
samsara through the
experiential, personal experiential, and the direct realization of anatma. It's clear? Huh?
the experiential realization of
The realization of selflessness is one that frees us from samsara, and we become no longer subject to what? Samsara. Since we are no longer subject to samsara forever, therefore is called what? Permanent freedom from samsara. And we are no longer subject to samsara, which means we are no longer subject to uncontrollable karmic birth and uncontrollable karmic death. And we are not subject to all of the samsaric condition, yes. Once we attain the nirvana, then our state of being is what? Serene, and what? Joyful, or serene, joyful, or blissful. Completely what? Free of what? Internal and external what?
Agitation.
irritation, and what? Uneasiness and what? Turbulence, yes. So that state of being, that state, yes, that state of being is called what? Nirvana, yes. When we attain the nirvana, what has really happened is all the karmas are ceased to exist, yes. All the karmic what seed or karmic imprint are ceased to what?
Exists.
Ceased to exist. They are gone. Completely what? Erased or eliminated, yes. Not only that, the delusive thoughts and emotions that are what?
That are a part of our sense of self.
No, delusive thoughts and emotions delusive thoughts and emotions that influences our actions and deed bound to be what? Negative are also what?
Cease to exist. They cease to exist.
Yeah, also cease to exist, completely but eliminated. Yeah. Not only that, the underlying cause for the delusive thoughts and emotions to arise is also what? Cease to exist, yes. The underlying cause of the delusive thoughts and emotions that what manipulates our actions, deed bound to be what? Negative, through which we create a karma, is called what? Avidya, which means what? Ignorance. In this case, is what? Ignorance. It refers to or misconception of self, yes. Misconception of self or misconception of self, which is what? Not knowing who we are.
Really are?
Who we really are, yes. Okay, Kathy, read that one. Whole part, yes. When we attain nirvana, then
Once we attain nirvana, our state of being is serene, joyful, or blissful, completely free of internal uneasiness, agitation, and turbulence. This state of being is called nirvana. When we attain nirvana, what really has happened is that our karmic imprints cease to exist. They are erased and completely eliminated. Also, our delusive thoughts and emotions, which influence our actions to be negative, are completely eliminated. Not only that, but the underlying causes of the delusions and thoughts and emotions that influence our actions to be negative, creating,
through which we create the karma.
through which we create karma, is called
Also what?
avidya,
Avidya is called avidya, and that is also what?
ignorance.
Yeah, and
Oh, that's also eliminated.
eliminated.
This refers to the misconception of self, not knowing who we really are.
Not know who we really are. Yes. That's clear. The highest goal or aim is enlightenment. Yes. Enlightenment can be achieved or attained through the practice of six perfections. Six perfections are based on what? Altruistic mind. Yes.
Okay.
Based on
Altruistic
altruistic what mind.
mind.
The first five of the six perfections are actually what? Tool or means to gain the direct realization of emptiness. Yes. Yep. Rebecca, read, could you read?
The highest goal is enlightenment and can be attained through the practice of the six perfections based on altruistic mind. The first five of the six perfections are actually tools or means to gain the direct realization of emptiness.
The direct realization of emptiness is the only right, door to enlightenment. Yes. One could say the direct realization of emptiness infused with altruistic mind is the only doorway to enlightenment. Okay, that's clear. Yeah, Don. Very last part. Could you read
The first five
of the first five of the six perfections
are
are
tools for the direct realization of emptiness.
direct. No, the first five of the six perfections are the what? Actually, tool or means for
The
to
direct
get
realization.
for gaining the direct realization of emptiness, and then the direct realization of emptiness infused with what? Altruistic mind is the only doorway to enlightenment. Yes. So we need to be very
clear.
Clear about it. And then the direct realization of emptiness can only arise from what?
From the altruistic mind.
No. Arise from what? Single pointed what? Meditation, yes. Single what?
Pointed meditation.
Single pointed meditation or what? Concentration what? Meditation, which is called what?
Shaman.
Shamatha, yes. So we should really know that we should be seeking the correct what? We should be seeking the direct realization of emptiness based on or on the basis of what? Single pointed what? Meditation is. So, seeking or attempting to gain the direct realization of emptiness on the basis of profound single pointed meditation. Yes. That's clear? Now, how to manage ourselves to gain the direct realization of our emptiness? Or we can say how to what? Pursue.
Or how to pursue.
How to pursue for gaining the direct realization of our emptiness. And then answer to that what?
That question.
Answer to that question is right. We really need to what? To guide the understandings of the what? Emptiness gain through what? Listening to the teachings of emptiness or teaching emptiness or explanation of the emptiness given by the what?
Qualified.
Qualified and experienced what? Teacher, yes. The teacher who himself or herself have the actual what?
observations.
Actual personal experience of what?
Of the understanding of emptiness.
Emptiness, yes. Which means the teacher himself or herself really knows what the emptiness really is, and teaching through what?
Through experience.
Through his or her what? Knowing and experience. Yes. So by listening or through listening to the teaching on emptiness, we can or we may have the good conceptual or intellectual understandings of what emptiness. And that conceptual or intellectual understandings of emptiness need to what? Bring or need to what? Guide into or guide to or guide into or guide towards logical what? Understanding, logical understanding through what?
Careful.
Reflection and what? Contemplation, yes. Which means that through contemplation and reflection on and about the what? Emptiness, we will have a new and fresh awareness or understandings of the emptiness. Beyond the what? Mere conceptual what? Understanding, yes. Yeah, Rebecca, read that part, yes.
Okay, when we listen to the explanation of emptiness by the qualified teacher, we will have a good conceptual understanding of emptiness, which will lead to a complete, correct.
Which what?
I'm not sure I got everything down. A complete and correct understanding of emptiness through contemplating and
No, first could you
analysis.
read beginning, what's it?
When we listen to the explanation of emptiness by a qualified teacher, we will have a good conceptual understanding of emptiness,
Emptiness.
which will lead to a complete and correct.
That correct conceptual intellectual understanding, right, need to be guided or guided.
Oh,
That need to what?
be guided by.
No, not guided by. That conceptual or intellectual understanding need to what? Bring or guide.
Oh, it will guide us.
Guide,
Okay.
yeah,
I said lead, but guide.
Guide us.
Yeah, it will guide us to a complete and correct.
Not guide us, not.
No.
You can say that conceptual or intellectual understanding need to almost like need to bring that. We need to bring that conceptual or intellectual understandings towards or into the what? Logical understandings of emptiness through contemplation and reflection. Yes.
To a logical and correct understanding of emptiness through contemplating and analysis.
No, that through contemplation and reflection. Yes.
And reflection. and reflection. And then this,
And through contemplation, repeated contemplation, doing what? Contemplation and what? Reflection. We will have a new and fresh what? Understandings of emptiness, right? That goes beyond the what? Mere conceptual and intellectual level of understanding. And that understanding is called what? Understanding arising from what? Reflection, yes. That is called what?
understanding arisen from reflection.
Oh, yes. Or understanding arising, or understanding or arising from what? Contemplation and what? Reflection. Or thinking is called so. To get done.
So it's through contemplation and reflection we'll have a new understanding.
New and fresh. New and fresh understandings of emptiness that goes beyond the level of what? Mere intellectual and conceptual understanding.
And that's called the
Understanding of emptiness arising from thinking, contemplation, and the reflection, yes. Okay. Read, who can read? Then we stop, yes. Yeah. Read, Rebecca, read, yes.
When we listen to the explanation of emptiness by the qualified teacher, we will have a correct conceptual understanding of emptiness, which needs to guide us to a logical and correct understanding of emptiness.
What do you say?
Contemplation.
Okay, that part is the problem, yes. That's the
Needs
problem.
to guide us. Yeah.
You have to guide us. You are talking guide us.
It needs to guide.
We need to guide. We have to guide. We need to guide that understanding.
Okay. Which we need to guide to a logical and correct
We
understanding
need to guide that conceptual understanding of emptiness
through contemplation and
to
reflection.
what? Logical understanding of emptiness through contemplation and reflection.
Okay. We will, okay, listen to the explanation by the qualified teacher, and we will have a good and correct conceptual understanding of emptiness, which we need to guide to a logical and correct understanding of emptiness through contemplation and reflection. Through repeated contemplation.
That part is clear or not? Done.
yes. Start with the
Don't say and don't think that what conceptual understanding of emptiness will guide us. This we are not talking.
We need to.
We, through our own effort, we what need to guide that conceptual understanding of emptiness to the logical what understandings of emptiness through what?
Contemplation.
Through doing contemplation and doing reflection over and again, yes.
Contemplation and reflection. We will have a new and fresh understanding of emptiness that goes beyond our conceptual and intellectual understanding.
Through repeated the process of our contemplation and reflection, we will have new and fresh understandings of the word emptiness that goes beyond the level of mere conceptual and intellectual, yes.
And that is called understanding arisen from reflection and contemplation.
Ah, yes. In Tibetan is called Samjung, yes. S-A-M and J-U-N-G, Samjung. Jung means come or arise. Sam means what? Thinking or contemplation or reflection. So arising from what? Thinking. Arising from contemplation. Arising from reflection. So that is the what? Is the first step in of our attempt to what? Gain the direct realization of emptiness. Yes. It's just the first step, yes. And two more steps. There are two more steps to go, yes, in order to gain the direct realization of emptiness. Two more steps. Oh, yeah, that we stop here, and then next time we can continue from that, yes. Oh, God, Ya lo zan ra ba ye den ba ye ren ba ye ru